Welcome to Uncommon Ground with Mike Davis.
And Troy Blevins.
And Pete Melfi.
We're here in the beautiful factory studios. And what day is it, Troy?
It is Tuesday. I was a little tardy in the morning show giving out the day, and I got scolded. So
Who scolded you?
It was commenters.
Scolded or scalded?
Scolded.
Scolded, okay.
Not scalded, scolded.
Right, scolded, okay. Just checking.
I think I said scolded, didn't I?
You
thought
did.
so.
Yeah,
Okay,
you did.
okay,
I just
okay.
wanted to make sure you had it right.
Yeah, I didn't get scalded.
All right.
That would be different.
He
Okay.
came and threw boiling water on you after you
Yeah.
left the day.
That's why we locked the door here in the factory studio.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Get up and lock the door, Pete.
Yeah, lock it.
Okay, I feel so much safer now.
Yeah. Now, like I said, we locked the door
All right, lock the door.
here
All
in the
right.
studio.
So apparently there are new guidelines from not the CDC today, but from the mainstream Washington, D.C. press.
Well, it's obviously CNN is in charge of mask. They're the new mask holes. So-
The maskals?
The mask holes.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
We've been using this term for like the last 6 months.
When did
mask
you guys
holes.
start using that term? Must be a morning thing. I haven't heard it on this show.
You've never heard of a mask hole.
I have not heard of that.
Pete,
Who originated
he
this
really
new
needs
word?
to get out more.
He's lying.
I really have not heard this.
Wow.
I do try to catch your show once a month
You
in
evidently
the morning,
don't catch it very
and
often.
apparently I missed it. If that's a term that you guys,
Well,
have
you've
used.
missed the entire world for the last 2 months, too.
and we didn't create the word.
Who created the word?
I don't know who created the word, but I'm sure we stole it like in March.
Okay.
So
Well, thanks for letting me know in October.
A mask hole can be on either side. They can either get onto you for wearing a mask,
Okay.
or most mask holes are Karens that get onto you for not wearing a mask.
So here's my thing.
But there are Karens that don't wear masks, and those have been popping up too, where they want to go in and get their lattes.
So here's my thing with the mask, and none of us are big fans of the mask,
Mm-mm.
but there are several places since DeSantis's order that have said, the sign on the door says wear a mask.
Mhm.
So I've worn the mask because it's their business. I respect whatever they want to, how they want to do it. If you don't have to wear a mask, you have to wear a mask. But to
Yeah.
me, I've tried to follow whatever the business has asked, just so somebody that's 20 years old
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a masked policeman.
Yeah.
And then get yelled at by somebody who doesn't want to
'cause
follow the business's
it's usually the
rule.
owner of the store that sets the rules, and not
Yeah.
the person that's having to enforce it.
The
But what
official
happens-
historian of the morning show
Mhm.
has said that you guys started the term mask holes on March the 12th.
March the 12th.
That
Wow.
that's when it
I don't even
started.
think- I
The
don't even
official
think-
historian Jim of the morning show. I believe he holds all of the stuff in archives at his house.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows that for sure.
I think we started doing it from our home on March 16th or 17th.
Jim's going to send video evidence
Okay.
before this show is over that it was the 12th.
All right. Well, thank you, Jim, because it was within that week. I'm not going to argue with Jim in any way, shape, or form.
And I
but it was
wasn't here
within
that week, so I was not a party to that. I was
Yeah.
in Costa Rica.
Yeah, and then you were in your quarantine for 2 weeks after that.
I was.
But what we were talking about is CNN last night just started bashing the president because the president walked out on his balcony
Mhm.
and waved to people from the balcony at the White House without a mask on. There was people walking below, and there was one cameraman behind him, probably 10, 15 feet behind him, nowhere near within 6 feet.
Okay.
I mean, the guy has like a telephoto lens. He doesn't need to be within 6 feet of the president. And
Could
CNN,
the telephoto lens picks up the droplets?
CNN just absolutely went crazy on him not wearing how irresponsible he is and how horrible he is for not wearing a mask. I'm sorry. The dude is just now getting over COVID.
Yeah.
That mask probably doesn't help him breathe. I know I have trouble breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a Trump fan. But some of the
Sounding more and more like one.
some of the stupid shit,
There you go. Now you're better.
some of the stupid
That's
shit
about
that both sides come up with on the other side is just absolutely ridiculous. That's what you're gonna talk about.
I have a feeling that because this show is about masks, Pete, this will be the one that's banned by Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling that it will be
I'm
your
not, and
headline.
I'm not against masks.
Well, you better say that to Facebook.
I'm not. I'm the one who always has one on me. All right.
All right.
I'm not against, but when you say, I don't know if they think it's gonna fall because of his height on the balcony.
Yeah.
And it's going to project more. So maybe they got the numbers mixed up and they rounded up to like 60 feet.
I don't know.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
A, do people think the White House isn't getting the absolute best information on coronavirus that's guiding the president's decision? And B, do people really think the president is suicidal and trying to kill everybody around him?
Can I ask a question? B is yes from the Washington, D.C. press corps. But the first question, I think you've already answered it on this show. Who is the person that the White House has been getting all of their information from about the coronavirus? Your friend and Troy's Dr. Fauci.
What's wrong with Fauci?
Well, I believe that Pete is several times been upset.
There's nothing Fauci can say that either side's going to like. He is the umpire of this entire.
I have to imagine for the entire.
No matter what he says, half the people are going to be mad at him.
So now you're on Fauci's side.
I just feel I'm sympathetic towards him.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I
I'm
don't
not on
think
his
Fauci...
side. I mean, I don't know if his information's right or wrong. And anybody who's out here saying it from where we sit, they don't know that either. They believe they're all experts, but they don't know that.
I'm not an expert. I just simply know when I get differing advice from the same guy, eventually I begin to wonder.
It's a changing world.
There is more than Dr. Fauci that informs Donald Trump on a variety of things, including the medical stuff. He's got a team of doctors. Don't you think if it was, in fact, that serious, they would be saying, Mr. Trump, we have to absolutely recommend you always wear a mask. And, you know, they make that dire and clear to him. And I think if that was the case, he would be always wearing a mask.
Yeah.
He's got the best medical advice in the world. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, and you and Larry have the same.
Well, I just
same thing. You just saw what popped up.
I saw what Larry popped up. So I wondered how long.
Before the show to me.
I said I wondered how. I really wonder how long before somebody begins to pin the outbreak in the White House on the Chinese or the Democrats. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it happened. At the same time, on the other side, Joy Reid came out the other day and said Donald Trump is faking COVID so that he can get sympathy. Yeah. Okay, Joy.
Yeah, because I get all my pertinent information from The View.
From where?
From The View.
She's not on The View. She has her own show.
Wasn't she on The View?
No, she's never been on The View.
Joy Behar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all
they're
right.
Two different,
when you
very
said
extremely leftist.
When you said that earlier today, that's who I went to.
No,
I don't even
Joy
know who
Reid.
she is.
She has her own show on MSNBC.
That no one watches.
She really hates the president. Mm-hmm. I mean, really hates the president.
There's a lot of people that really hate. I mean, he's not exactly a warm and fuzzy guy.
Yep.
He's not exactly a warm and fuzzy guy. But I'm gonna talk about what Larry said.
Yeah.
Larry said that the Dems gave the White House staff.
I don't think the
COVID.
Dems gave it.
Yeah, when you said it earlier today,
I just was wondering.
That was a
I was
question
wondering
you
out
asked
loud
me earlier today.
I was
wondering. I was like, all right, and you and Larry are working together.
I just was wondering out loud.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things.
Gotcha.
It's October. Was that the October surprise?
It might be the trick or treat. No,
Listen, I hope nobody's trying to get that stuff around Joe Biden because I don't think Joe Biden would. I don't wish it on anybody. I don't want it on anybody.
No one knows how somebody's body's going to react.
You just don't know.
Everybody's body's different. You don't know how somebody's body's going to react. I can tell you this. It made me feel pretty good. A 74-year-old man with a bazillion pounds of stress in his life with 15 pre-existing conditions came out of this okay.
Apparently, cheeseburgers from McDonald's have some type of immunization.
So he's
Pete, you should be fine.
Be all right.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Pete.
I've been studying this from the beginning. I've known that from almost the start.
I should have known that's why you were doubling up on McDonald's in March and April.
So no, I mean, and I was watching the president, periodically, and the way CNN was portraying it is like he was spreading the virus all over Washington, D.C. from the balcony.
It's kind of pathetic, isn't it?
It was so. I mean, and we make fun of in hurricane season when the Weather Channel is clearly a person from like Iowa standing out on the beach and just like they're really standing in the wind and you see like a little poodle walk by like.
Well, or they're talking about how deep the water is.
Yeah.
And a jogging team comes by.
Yeah.
Like right behind him is like, here's the track team from the local high school.
Yeah. Yeah,
The water's about waist deep, and they're standing in a ditch, and here comes the track team behind them. You're like,
live on Riberia one time.
Oh, come on. Quit whining. You bought the house.
Yeah, I love it.
You
there.
moved into it.
I love it there. I got waterfront, 3 or 4
And I fully
times a week.
expect to see posts on Facebook of you in your mask the next time you're
I'm
on
on
your
my porch. I guess at
You
this
better
point,
be wearing the
if
mask.
CNN comes by,
You
because I hang out
better
on
be
my
wearing the
porch a
mask.
lot. And that is his house. The White House is his house.
It is his house
You know?
until the time that he's
Yeah.
not president. It's his house.
He's not just squatting there; it's his house, and they want him to do that. And the other thing that ticked me off, and have we done a read?
We have not done a read.
Yeah.
You're a little ticked off. Would you like
All
to
right,
do ticked off or the read?
I'm going to do a read. I'm going to do a read, and then
Okay.
I'm going to go to the second
right.
segment of the ticked offness.
Got it.
You won't be ticked off if you call Land Title of America, the oldest title company serving the oldest city. Stephen Collins, the owner of Land Title, has been working in the title insurance industry here in St. Augustine since 1985, specializing in all your title insurance and closing needs. If you have a title issue, there is no one better. Stay local. Choose Land Title. Call or text him anytime on his cell, 904-501-4481. And yesterday was Stephen's birthday, and I
Happy belated birthday.
did not tell you happy birthday, and I apologize because he's still younger than us.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Stephen. Sorry we missed your birthday. Hope you had a great one. So, all right, you know what pisses me off?
What pisses you off?
Not Stephen Collins.
I can't wait. Pete, can you wait?
The parade.
I can't wait.
The parade thing.
Pete's texting somebody.
Yeah, Pete.
I am.
Pete's completely distracted.
I know.
Completely distracted. It's all right.
When you guys do reads, I take it as my time to answer emails and do text. That ended up to be a short read, so
Yeah.
I'm finishing a text.
Yeah, well, it's a well written read.
Let us
We
know when
appreciate
you're
it.
back.
That's right.
Let
Yeah,
us
just
know when you're back.
when we need to throw a question because we can't see Pete,
Yep.
so we just kind of look in that general direction, and hopefully he's looking at the monitor at the time.
Well, now I
I pretty
look
much
through the
always am.
monitor to see if his hands are on his phone, and then I don't
Okay.
say anything.
All right, I can't. I
Ah,
can't see
there
that.
you go.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
you know-
learning.
You know what ticks me off?
What takes you off?
All right, and it's the left again. I'm kind of bashing the left a little bit.
As a
I-
good progressive that you are. Yes, you are.
But they were so concerned about the little parade that Trump did for
Yes.
all the people that were out there.
A lot of people spontaneously showed up, drove hours to pray for Trump, to show him that they supported him outside of
Yeah.
Walter Reed. And
I mean,
Trump got in the car and drove around and waved
Shame
to
on
them.
Americans backing their president.
There you
that's-
go. That's a little better.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
a little better.
but they were concerned about the Secret Service in the car. These are guys that at
Mhm.
any moment's notice would have to jump in front of the president and take a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And they're worried about them getting COVID that a 74-year-old obese man just whipped in like 3 days.
What did they? It wasn't just obese, morbidly obese. They might have said morbidly obese in one of the things.
Yeah, he
They probably did.
He's
If
like
they
70
didn't, they
pounds. He's
should
like
have. It was
70
their opportunity to call him morbidly obese, and they didn't take it.
I don't know what that rule is, but he's like 70 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
He's not like a guy you want to see without a shirt on, Chris Christie.
There's
Chris
not-
Christie?
So, just how many men do you want to see without a shirt on, Troy?
I don't really care to see.
I
any
was
men with
asking.
their
I mean, when
shirts
you
on.
said that, it was like there was a
But
number of men that
there's obviously men that you're like, okay, that dude looks pretty good. with
He's
his
in
shirt
shape,
off.
yeah.
He's in shape. But revolting bodies. Trump's probably got one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's why you shouldn't go to a water park these days.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I think any of them are open, but water parks are not a place where
Nude beaches look like
your
that, too.
eyes
It's
just
not-
get incredibly.
It is not what you think it's going to be.
No.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, taking our young kids to water parks,
Mhm.
as tattoos became more of an in thing,
Yeah.
it was even more it would just blind you. Your eyes, you go to bed at night and you're trying to get images out of your retina. It's just bad.
Well, and I've been at water and I have tattoos on my torso, quite a few, and I caught people like looking at me like trying to figure out what's what on my tattoos, and it's one of those things where I'll probably need to leave my shirt on the next time. I think I'm at the dad bod situation
To
where I need
help
put-
all of the people whose retinas you are burning
Mhm.
at the park, I 100%.
He's like, I'm gonna put the headsets back on you.
I 100% will buy
You're
you.
about 8 feet from that
I will buy
microphone
you a
at
shirt.
many points of the show, and I couldn't take it anymore.
Well, the problem is, and you're 100% right. It needs to be on this side because I look at Mike and then I turn my head completely away.
Pete,
from
it's
Mike.
okay. He's just not coachable. You told
Yeah.
me one time I get closer to the microphone, and I've tried to do that. So
Well, I did have to tell you about 700 times.
Yeah, it was 700
but
times. Yeah, it was-
We're only on 230 for Troy.
I'm just sad that I've
Yeah.
taken Mike's place on not talking into the microphone.
You definitely have.
Uh,
But it's okay. This is much better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, all
I'm
right.
much more calm now behind the TV where you can't see
All
my
right.
head exploding.
You're going to tell everyone about how amazing Solomon Service is.
I do have Solomon
So-
services. I do.
We were talking about dad bods, and if you
Dad
want to
bod.
avoid
If you
the
want to
dad
avoid the
bods,
dad bod, this
this
is the
is where you
place to go. Solomon Services is the premier place for personal training in St. Augustine. They specialize in one-on-one youth and adult personal training, small group strength and fitness development, athletic development for team and individual sports performance. They have speed and agility development classes, sport injury-related training. And they have a new state-of-the-art center with indoor and outdoor turf areas. All of their coaches are certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Gym sanitation and client safety is a top priority at Solomon Services. Call and make an appointment, 904-461-9945, or visit their website, solomonservices.com, and sign up today.
Yep.
Was there today. It's an absolutely wonderful place, and they do a great job.
Okay.
And they really
Well,
do
what
take
was the
the gym
information you
sanitation.
told me? You weigh in pretty much every day.
We don't want to talk about that on there. That's off limits. Today was a weigh-in day, and I probably had the worst weigh-in I'd ever had.
Yeah.
Thank you
were
for
so-
bringing that
You
up.
were so sad, but
Thank
you were in good
I really
shape.
wasn't that
You're in
sad.
good
I'm okay
shape.
with it. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
He was sad, Pete.
Pete, I was
He
not.
sounds like he's a
Pat.
little hurt.
Hey,
I'm
he
not
was,
sad.
he was sad. He
I'm
was
not
sad.
I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Like, I mean,
I'll be fine.
But I can tell you, you carry your weight well.
Thank you, all of it.
Wow.
Thanks.
You know,
Wow.
you, I'm sure.
Why
don't
is
look
it I
as
feel
bad.
like I'm being fat shamed by Troy right now?
You don't look as
The man
bad
who
as
hasn't.
Donald Trump.
When's the last time you exercised?
I did sit-ups last night, like 20 of them.
Okay, well that counts for something.
I did like 15 push-ups, and I was like, "Screw this! I'm going to have cookies."
All right.
And I'll tell you, here's how bad, and it sounds terrible because I'm fat shaming myself a little bit, but I'll weigh myself at night, and depending on my weight is whether or not I eat cookies at night.
Yeah.
So if I'm under a certain weight, I'm allowed to have cookies.
Pete, has that ever stopped you from having a cookie?
No.
He's not 53 either. He's
Hasn't
never
stopped me
been
from eating
53.
sleeves of cookies.
Yeah.
You remember what I weighed when I was his age? I was like 15 pounds lighter.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't consider myself fat now.
No, but you do have a dad bod. You said that earlier.
Yeah. Well, I am a dad. So.
Not that our listeners want to hear about
They don't
the
want to
dad
hear
bod.
that.
They don't
All right,
wanna hear that.
let's go to some other information.
Well,
Oh,
Eddie
one
Van
thing.
Halen passed away.
Yeah.
So very sad. Eddie Van Halen. Doesn't it figure that something bad would happen to Van Halen in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
It's happened to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel Eddie Van Halen was a lot of great music
Mhm.
came out of the band, and
Yeah, Hall of Fame rock and roll
Yeah.
guy.
just
So.
and from what I understand, he was a pretty good guy. So.
Yeah. So.
All right. What do you have? You have 4 notes over there. Did we get through all 4
Well,
of them?
the other one's another thing. We try and send prayers out to certain people that are
Yeah, this is important.
feeling a little under the weather.
Yep.
Commissioner Waldron's making his way back and doing some things, and I appreciate everybody who prayed for him. But you and I have a mutual friend, Chico.
Yep. Good.
And,
Really good person.
Sorry, Pennywise is in the mic. And Chico's, having some health issues. Just always an upbeat guy, even when he's having some of these things. So, our listening audience out there, if you would, send some prayers up to Chico and try and pick up his spirits a little bit and getting back to the health and
Yes.
because he's a real high energy guy.
A super
So,
guy.
yeah,
Really
so.
good person. So yes.
All right. A
All
lot
right.
of prayers for Chico and his family.
Okay.
So, all right. That's pretty much. I've pretty much went through all my rants and raves. So I'm just here to be the sidekick.
There's
from here
40
on out.
minutes left. I got that.
You got. Well,
I
you
got
got
that.
at least that.
I at least got that. I'm going to start with the first one. There was a headline I read today. Pete, are you awake over there? Because you're going to want to be in part of this discussion.
I'm awake.
So is this on the ballot? Okay. Are lockdowns and reopenings on the ballot? If Joe Biden wins, are we going to have more national lockdowns or some type of national mandated lockdown. Because right now, you have every state's kind of making their own decision. But if Biden wins, will the lockdowns continue in some of these blue states? If Trump wins, will the lockdowns kind of ease up? What do you guys think? Where
I
does
think it's
that?
still going to be state by state. I think there's still going to be pushback. That's my opinion. It's still going to be state by state. Unless he does an executive order from the White House, which I can't see him doing that, but it could happen. It could happen. So.
Pete?
Well, it's hard to tell because Biden has said in the past that he would have a national mandate on masks.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few days later, he went back and said he wouldn't have a national mandate on masks. And he's still running commercials that said he would mandate masks. So I would have to say under Biden, we have a nationwide mask mandate just according to his commercials and him.
So basically, every attorney general in a red state will be suing the government to stop the mask mandate.
Well, it won't be enforceable.
I don't know.
The mask mandate is not enforceable.
It's
been proven everywhere.
So here's the other. In blue states where people are fed up with the lockdown, are some of them, even though they might not be Trump fans, are they less likely or more likely to want to vote for Trump just to end some of the mandates?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know if they'll switch all the way over to Trump.
Okay.
But I think there'll be more Democrats sitting out than voting for Trump. You know what I mean? They'll just say, okay. And that's one of the things on my list is I vote for Trump, I sit out, or I vote for Jurgensen. Not on my list is vote for Biden.
Okay.
It's just not on my list, and I'm considered middle, maybe slightly right. So
trending.
Yeah.
You're a trender. You're trending right.
That's the way I trend.
Yeah, trending.
Yeah, I'm middle.
Could change
middle
at any
trend,
minute.
Yeah, I mean, depends on what's.
Once marijuana became legalized, he really started trending more right. That was his last big liberal issue.
That was my last big liberal issue,
Yeah.
and it's not 100% legal yet. But I'm telling you right now, that would be the one that would push Trump over the edge.
Push Trump over the edge. Well,
and I said it to a very conservative person, and
Yeah.
it was like their head blew up, and they're like, "Oh, you can't do that." I was like, "It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen probably within his term."
Okay.
So
typically, and you've said this repeatedly on the show, that the economy is the thing that drives you with your vote, and it's the economy that drives most people with their vote.
taxes.
Taxes.
Taxes. Yeah.
Well, and the state of the economy.
Yeah.
Okay. Pete, what is the major thing that you look at when you go to vote? What issues are big to you in the president?
The person I'm voting for being cognizant of his surroundings.
I don't know what you're trying to
That's
say.
why Sarah Palin was out.
That's a great point. Yeah. Them not being
He's
a
not the
total
first
piece
one.
of shit.
Troy
is another one.
7,000, Sarah Palin 0 on this show. She's welcome on any time. No.
Yeah. She just can't sing.
No, I really look at who do I think is really gonna do the bidding of kind of the governmental agenda, and then I don't vote for that person.
That's the negative for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that Trump has a much better chance if the economy is the number one issue.
Mm-hmm.
If coronavirus is the number one issue, I think Biden has a better chance.
No, it's a good take.
Because I think that's you look at the numbers. So Gallup did a poll, and we all know what polls are worth, but we're going to report it anyway. So what do you think the percentage was, Troy, of people that felt like the economy was extremely important to them or very important to their vote? What percentage of people?
I'm going to say 61%.
89%.
Oh, wow.
89%.
Wow.
That's higher than I thought.
So if it's 89, and again, I'm looking at this as
how
a
many
trend line.
millennials did they ask? Or Gen Xers? I'm sorry, I can't throw Pete in there anymore.
Let me
No,
read
man.
through
They're actually
this.
coming to their senses a little bit.
The
on
millennials are getting older. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are, because it's all of a sudden becoming their money because they're making.
Well, they're
more
having
money.
children.
Yeah.
So
Right. So here was the other things that ranked on the Gallup poll. All right, it's kind of interesting. So terrorism, national security, 83%, education, 82%, healthcare, 80%. All right, so it's up there as well. Crime, 79%, response to the coronavirus, 77%, race relations, 76%. It works all the way down. Do you know what the last issue was out of the 16?
wearing masks.
No, relations with Russia.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after 4
The
years,
nothing burger.
after 4 years, that's the issue, and it's like down in the 40s. Relationships are viewed important to less than it was 49% of the people.
Mhm.
So that's, if you figure they interviewed 35, 38%, 40% Democrats, that's 9% of either independents or Republicans that are worried about relations with Russia.
Yeah.
So I look at that poll as that's helpful to Trump if you're looking at where's our trend. And 4 weeks from now, we vote.
Mhm.
You guys will be voting. I'll be in a planning and zoning meeting.
Yeah, he's missing election day, maybe.
I don't know.
Wow.
It depends what the agenda is.
You're missing.
I don't
What?
He's
know.
missing election day.
I don't
So
know.
that's a forfeit on these bets we got over here. Straight forfeit.
No,
So it's
you
up
know
to
what's going
whether
to happen. You guys go ahead and do the election show from 8 until 11, and I'll do the show from 11 till 5.
No.
Because it's going to be going on.
It's going to go on for possibly months.
Well,
we're
unless
start
somebody wins in a
We're
landslide.
going to start the election show at 7.
Unless somebody wins in a
like we
landslide.
did last time, because that's when the numbers start coming in. The
We
local
all
numbers.
know you can skip PZB meetings, Mike.
I can't. It's my civic duty.
This is your civic duty as well, to inform the people.
Well, I don't know of any.
It's
Well,
all right. He'll get here when he gets here. It's okay.
I'll be
Like next week, he's gone all next week.
Just
almost,
call
so.
me Troy.
Yeah.
I'm going on a mission.
I have not missed a third of what you missed in the last 2 years. By the way, I used to miss a lot.
Yeah.
I used to miss a lot.
Yeah.
So
I'm very proud of that stat, by the way.
last 2 years.
I'm incredibly proud
you
of
have
that stat.
Lapped me,
Yeah.
caught me, and lapped me again on vacation.
My goal is to lap you again in the
Yes.
first quarter
And
of
I don't-
next year.
and I'm not bitter about it.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about it.
I'm very
that
excited
much.
about that.
That much bitter.
No, it's okay. So there was a guy who has a show on Fox Radio, Jimmy Fallia, and I may have mispronounced his name. I apologize.
He used to be on that Snell.
No, it's not that. So, but anyway, he had a story out today that he and his family took a trip through Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Ohio. There were 3 signs that they saw all the time. Right? Can you guess what the number 1 yard sign was that they saw?
Where were they at?
They were in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Ohio. Number 1 yard sign.
Trump.
Okay. Number 2 yard sign.
I'm assuming it's Biden.
Sweet corn for sale. Okay. The number 3 sign was Biden.
Okay.
So according to this guy, it's going to be a lawn slide.
See, this is where you messed up.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet corn is a guy that Biden fought.
no, that was Corn Pop.
No. Sweet corn was Corn Pop's little brother.
All right.
So you just didn't understand the sign.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's he's supporting Biden because Biden beat it into him.
Yeah.
He took him behind the woodshed.
Not yet. He hasn't. Anyway, it was interesting to me. So I'm not actually going on vacation next week.
Mm-hmm.
I am going on a covert
Research.
mission. I'm going to go do research, and I'm sending the entire bill to Uncommon Ground because I'm going to go through multiple states and try to figure out.
You just turned on your phone.
No. What happens is the headset goes dead, and then all of a sudden the volume comes back on this one.
Okay.
So
I thought when you said you were going undercover, you were going to go as you were going to try and join Antifa. I was going to say
I'm too peaceful a person to do that.
Well, you also
doesn't
wouldn't
have
fit
that much
in.
anger.
You'd stick out pretty well.
I don't have that much anger.
Mike, untuck your shirt. I
can't untuck my shirt outside. That's wrong.
We had a guy when we first opened up
Yeah.
the amphitheater, and they were concerned about drugs being sold, and it was a hippie show, and this guy comes in and he's undercover, and he's now a high-ranking person at the sheriff's office. I won't call him out by name, but if he's watching right now, he knows this is true, and he's laughing at me. I literally had to make him look like he was undercover. He had his shirt tucked in, belt tight. I mean, I took off his belt. He's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, everybody in the world knows you're an undercover cop if you come up to him. I was like, you can't look any more like a cop. You, Mike, will always look like a cop.
So out of the 3 of us, I got to tell you, Pete's got the best chance of going undercover.
Yeah, he's the youngest.
He's the youngest. He just blends in more surroundings. You look creepily old sometimes. I mean, some of the hats that you wear, just people like run their. If kids are walking down the street, they're crossing the street.
I look like a guy who would sell you moonshine, not a dude who'd sell you weed. Right?
Okay. I just thought the longer we left it awkward, the better it would be.
It didn't sound like anybody agreed with that.
No, you don't think I mean, Okay, in the room, who would you think, if you looked at him, who would you buy moonshine from?
I mean, obviously, you in the room. It's not going to
Yeah.
be the cop.
Yeah.
Boy,
Not going to be the cop.
So, exactly.
which one would do a PSA for safety in the
You.
room?
That would be you,
That'd
Mike.
be you.
That would be you.
That'd be you.
You'd be the only one who'd make sense doing a PSA for safety.
You might not buy weed from Pete, but he's a guy you'd approach to ask if he knows where to get it.
That's it.
All right. So do you need to do another read? We got another ad? Did you
Yeah,
get
I want
both
to talk
yours?
about Arnett Heating and Air.
Let's talk about Arnett.
Arnett Heating and Air, the oldest air conditioning company in St. Augustine. They've been here since 1932. They have more experience than anyone else in town. They have an amazing metal shop, and their service department is always on point. Give them a call, Arnett Heating and Air.
Very good.
Yeah.
They're very, very good. Okay, we can go to the Supremes, or we can talk about Biden's latest gaffe.
Let's do the Supremes, and then we'll come back to the
Yeah, there's
gaffe.
so much about
Yeah.
the Biden gaffe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so the Supremes. So it's kind of interesting. Amy Coney Barrett is Catholic. So there's been a lot of talk about a Catholic being on the Supreme Court. So I found out a stat the other day. How many Catholics currently are on the Supreme Court? He's thinking. He's going through names, trying to associate names with religion.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah,
I was
I feel-
profiling.
Yeah, you're profiling.
I was profiling.
It's
by
okay.
name. I'm going to
It's
say
hi-
one.
You're going to say one.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Sonia Sotomayor. There are 5 Catholics
Okay.
on the Supreme Court.
Sotomayor was the one I was confident with.
Yeah.
I didn't have Roberts in that. I didn't realize he was Catholic.
Right?
Kavanaugh, I was going to give a chance to, and I almost went 2
Mhm.
with him. But yeah, I didn't have Roberts, and
Right,
I
so-
didn't have Clarence Thomas in the Catholic.
So Barrett's on there. 6
Mhm.
people on the Supreme Court would be Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing because Catholicism is not the biggest religion in the United States. But to have 6 on the Supreme Court would be rather amazing.
Mhm.
So what is the next leading religion on the Supreme Court? There's only 2.
There's only
There's only 2.
There's
So
only
what's
2
the
left.
next leading religion?
I'm going to say non-denominational.
Pete, you got any
Anyway.
guesses at this?
Yeah, I'd go with agnostic.
Judaism.
Judaism, oh sure, yeah,
Judaism.
that makes
So
sense.
you
The
have
other 2 are
Byron Kagan
Uh-huh.
are Jewish. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was Jewish.
Mhm.
Okay. And then Gorsuch was raised Catholic, but now he's a practicing Episcopalian.
okay.
So that I just it got into it's really interesting because religion has been a big thing
Mhm.
with Trump's latest nominee for the Supreme Court, but it's kind of
Well,
laughable.
hopefully they set their religion aside when they make their decision.
Well, they should.
and I feel,
I would like them to. I want them to look at the law
Mhm.
and to apply it based on what the Constitution says.
and I feel John Roberts does an excellent job with that.
Okay, I'm going to let that go today because I really don't want to get in that argument.
I was trying to trigger Mike right there, and he,
Yeah, I'm in a good mood today.
Ugh.
I got some aqua therapy about lunchtime, so
there
I'm in
you
a
go.
good mood.
Okay,
I'm not
you went
upset.
surfing today. That's why
Yeah.
he didn't jump on that.
No. Listen, John Roberts is entitled to be wrong just like everybody else.
Mhm. I think he does an excellent job.
I think John Roberts has thrown us under the bus more times than I care to.
I think he
as
gave his
conservatives.
honest opinion.
Yeah.
And I think he's an honest man.
Okay.
And so did you when he went in.
I was very happy he went in when he went
You
in.
know?
I didn't
And-
know I'd
and,
be
I
so
mean, you
disappointed.
loved Ted Cruz until Trump told you not to.
No, I loved Ted Cruz until Melania came down the escalator.
Oh.
I just thought Trump had a chance to beat Hillary. I didn't think Ted Cruz had any chance at beating Hillary Clinton.
Mhm.
I knew Jeb Bush didn't have any chance at beating Hillary Clinton.
Well, he was so high energy. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even say that with a straight
You
face.
can't even say that.
Can't even
Low
say it with
energy
a straight
Jeb.
face.
No,
So,
you couldn't.
all right. So, what was the other one?
Biden's latest gaffe.
gaffe.
Yeah. So there's a pull quote out of a speech he gave the other day, and the pull quote is really bad. Okay. But if you read the entire quote, it's not quite as bad, but you still have to go, Joe, what
And
were
this
you
is on
trying to
Fox.
say? Oh, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
but it's
okay,
everywhere on the
okay.
internet because he said it.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, and everywhere on the internet, they're pulling the snippet of it
Mhm.
and just the line. So the line out of it, I'll give you the line first, and then I'll give you the entire sentence, because that way you can kind of see, okay, this is being pulled slightly out of context, but you still have to shake your head as to why you even said that. So the pull is like, they're saying, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did see that quote.
You saw it.
Yeah, I
right?
saw that quote.
Now, I'm going to read the full quote out of fairness to Biden, but also I'm going to warn you, it's not as bad as that poll quote, but you still scratch your head at trying to figure out half of what he's trying to say in this sentence. The teleprompter obviously got jammed, or he decided not to use it. Okay. So here's the full Joe Biden quote. And if I sound like I'm not reading it correctly, I am reading it correctly. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And they say, well, why in the hell would you say that, Biden? You just talked about all these difficulties. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the American public, the blinders have been taken off. They've all of a sudden seen a hell of a lot clearer. They're saying, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf, or a young Hispanic is out there. These dreamers are out there, 60,000 of them, acting as first responders and nurses and docs. All of a sudden, people are realizing, my Lord, these people have done so much, not just black, white, across the board. They've done so much for me. I'm still trying to figure out what
I don't know what the hell he said.
I don't know either.
It didn't sound as bad in all the mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
But what they pulled, yeah, that's what you get with Fox.
And I didn't. Well, it's not just Fox; it's everybody on the conservative side. I saw that.
It's everybody on both sides. If somebody jams or shows any chink in the armor, they're going for that.
Oh no, any one line you got. Pete, did you understand what Joe meant? Okay, I'm just checking. But that's every time. Well, here's the thing. I know that there are dreamers that are doing great things, right? I get that. But to equate that all 60,000 of them are first responders might be a bit of a stretch.
I didn't hear that portion of it.
These dreamers are out there, 60,000 of them acting as first responders and nurses and docs. It sounded like every dreamer that was here.
You are drinking the
I'm not drinking.
Kool-Aid.
I'm just reading what he said.
Wow, that's what you heard
I'm just reading what he said.
That's what you heard in that?
That's what I heard.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry.
That is some serious Fox Kool-Aid right there. So, and it was Flavor Aid. It wasn't really Kool-Aid.
Wasn't
it's
really
completely,
Kool-Aid.
It was completely wrong historic quote.
Completely.
So, no, I mean, you just, the media just grabs the portion of that'll hurt the other guy instead of what helps their guy.
Yeah.
So, all right, I do have one other thing over here that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, it's about the stimulus. I want you to explain to me what's going on with that and why Trump said we're not going to talk about it.
So
give me the Reader's Digest version.
I'll give you the Reader's Digest version,
not the Fox version.
And to be fair, everyone has to understand I'm from a conservative standpoint. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi has continued to load down the second stimulus bill with things that Trump will not sign. Okay, they're just political. You're just not going to do it. Trump
$1 million to
I think
two ring raccoon stuff like that. Yeah,
it's just awful stuff. And so Trump has said no. So Trump, I think they tried to meet him like halfway, right? And Pelosi came down like 5% of what she wanted. And so this was months ago.
She's not good at math.
She's not good at math, and she doesn't want to give Trump a win between now and the election on providing help to people that are voting. So she's just would rather there not be a bill.
She doesn't want his name to appear on another check delivered to the American people that really need it.
Correct.
Okay, that's the Reader's Digest.
That's the
right
version of it. Trump, on the other hand, I think has spent months figuring out that this deal wasn't going to get done. So at some point in time, there will be another executive order, and somehow, way, shape, or form, they will find the way to get money to people, or they'll do something to help the American worker. It will all be Trump. And even if it's wrong and Pelosi sues him over it, you won't have that decision until after the election. So I think Trump will go out of his way to make some grand gesture to help.
So when
people.
you say sue, is that another word for impeach?
No, that will be after.
Oh, okay.
Right now, I mean, listen, guys, give me your odds. If Trump wins, will they try to impeach him before he's inaugurated again?
I think first they'll try and throw out the results of the election.
And if that doesn't work,
If that doesn't work, then impeachment's the next step.
Pete, what's your prognosis?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. I don't see it happening, but it wouldn't shock me.
Mm-hmm.
We have to impeach him before we swear him in.
Yeah.
And my pens for signing the impeachment order will be on sale on eBay for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's going to get them from Amazon and then sell them on
And
eBay.
then sell them on eBay.
No, and will we have a definitive winner before January 20th?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Otherwise, you could have a Pelosi administration or whoever is. Now, here's the other thing. It could be somebody, if the Republicans take the House and they're sworn in on the 6th of January,
mm-hmm.
Whoever the new Speaker of the House is could be the new president.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be somebody that we don't know. It could be I don't know who's the guy from California, Pete, right now that's the minority leader for the Republicans. Kevin McCarthy.
There you go.
Thank you, Pete. You have
You're
been
welcome.
extremely helpful.
Yep, I try.
Is that the
I'm a
comedian?
fast
Never
fact
could have got
checker
that.
over here.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy. Did you ever interview him?
No, never did.
Okay.
Well, last time we had a McCarthy in leadership.
Oh, we're going there.
Huh.
Oh, guilt by name association.
Yeah, I mean,
Guilt by name association.
If you're on the other side,
all right.
last time he was there, it wasn't great.
Okay.
Was that Joe?
It was Joe.
Is he related to Joe?
No, he's not related.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure he's not.
Okay.
All right. He doesn't look like he's a communist. He doesn't look like he's an anti.
I don't want to end up on a list.
I don't know. We're already on a list.
I don't want to end up on a list.
We're already
Multiple
on a list.
lists.
Yeah.
You know what I forgot to tell you guys too during 5 questions yesterday?
We're on a list?
No. It
Oh.
was about the phone. You know how many numbers you have to remember and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we didn't get to is when you say a name
mm-hmm.
and you get something completely different back.
Yeah.
So do you have a name that you use like Sal Reparo,
mm-hmm.
right? I'll say Sal, and it will give me cell repair back,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
that's like a 30% of the time. And then there's other people's names that it just completely misspells the last name, and you have to kind of delete stuff out to get them. So do you have anybody that
I have a superintendent, and his name's very simple,
mm-hmm.
but my phone has trouble finding him, and I probably talked to him, 3 times. He's the one building the 2 hotels for us.
Yep.
And his name's Dave Sample.
Okay.
And it goes all over the place. I mean, it's sometimes it doesn't even sound like Dave at all. Sometimes it's some like Apple.
Yeah.
Or, the Apple store is 23 miles. No, I said call Dave Sample. And sorry, Dave, I'm throwing your name out there, but
you got anybody? I know you don't have as many friends as Troy.
No, I don't.
Few people do, but I mean, do you have any?
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Pete doesn't call people.
Well,
no,
Pete-
I rarely use the phone version of my phone.
He texts, and if our texts get too long, then I call him.
Okay.
I think Pete, in the 8 years I've known Pete, I think Pete's called me twice.
Possibly.
I feel very grateful right now because Pete will answer my calls.
He will?
It took a while.
Yeah.
And now Pete's, I've given you some pretty good intel over
That's
the
right.
past 2 years.
Mike has been Scoop Davis a couple of times. So
and I haven't asked
his
for any
calls sometimes
credits or
get prioritized.
bylines.
That's
Things
right.
will happen, and I'll go, Pete, you might want to look into this.
Yeah. But no, as far as your question, every time I try to call Troy, it says there's no Tony Belvins to be found.
Yeah.
Yep.
No Tony,
really
Tony
weird.
Belvins.
Yeah.
My phone does the same thing.
Yeah.
Tony Belvins is not.
Maybe you
in
should
yours.
put me in your phone as Tony Belvins.
So I did have one, Danny Boston, a painter in town.
Mm-hmm.
Danny does a lot of work for us. My phone would be always monotone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I said Danny Boston, it would read it back with a Boston accent. I'm like, just because it's Boston, it would be like, seriously, a New England accent would come out.
Your
You mean
androids
Danny
are weird.
Boston?
You guys
Yeah.
androids are weird.
No,
So,
I'm just saying.
um,
All right, I need to do another ad because we've got people we need to help pay their bills because they're paying our bills. So A to Z water roofing and waterproofing. They've been in business for over 20 years in St. Johns County. They offer free estimates. They do painted metal roofs for saltwater homes with warranties up to 25 years. They do shingle roofs with warranties up to 50 years. A to Z also installs tile roofing, cedar shake shingles, designer roofing, and flat roof coverings. If you want to see photos of their recent jobs with material descriptions, you can do that at A to Z roofing and waterproofing.com. Just give them a call, 904-669-8037, and they will fix all of your roofing needs. And if you have a problem on your roof, they will get that repaired as well.
Yeah.
All right?
good peeps. Good
They're
peeps.
very, very good.
All right. So
Cedar
what
State
else you
Chiefs.
got? What else you got? You got a whole list of stuff.
I got a
think
whole
we've
list of
only
things. So
got
do you
to a
want to
couple
talk about the Pope or the NBA?
Let's talk about the NBA.
Okay. So the NBA had game 2 the other night.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because the Pope's doing okay. He's got enough justices out there that
He basically
Well,
runs the Supreme
his
Court right now.
His back's covered.
The Pope runs the Supremes.
The Supremes have his back.
Yes.
Have his 6.
All right. So NBA game 2.
Mm-hmm.
Game 1 was the lowest rating since 1994.
Okay.
Right. So what was the decrease in viewership for game 2? Percentage-wise.
Another 10%.
So give me a percentage drop from last year's game to,
from last
to
year's
this
to-
year's game 2.
I'm gonna say it dropped. I'm gonna say it dropped like 65%.
Pete?
Wow. I'm going to do 42%.
Troy is just on fire. 68%.
Wow.
A 68% drop. I have
Yeah,
not seen
that's
game
huge.
3, but that's more than half your viewers going, yeah, I just don't want to watch.
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch.
And here's the sad part, because the NBA management went in this bubble.
Mm-hmm.
They've done the best job as far as the sports go of having continual service
Yeah.
with the least amount of people
Oh, I agree.
affected. So,
I 100. I think that if you want to talk about a success,
Mhm.
they were very successful. I think the NHL was pretty successful
Mhm.
because they kept people in bubbles and areas. But the NBA did a phenomenal job of bringing that many players in. You didn't have any outbreaks inside the bubble. The players obviously did a good job of staying in the bubble and not having
and
that issue.
we thought the NBA would have trouble because they make so much contact with each other. But
Yes.
they kind of kept themselves in a good position where no one was able to be near somebody who was already infected.
Well, and here's the ironic thing.
Mhm.
If the NBA was less political and more like middle of the road and not leaning left,
Mhm.
they would have been Donald Trump's prime example of, look, you can play NBA basketball and not get sick with coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been the prime example of,
But they did. I mean, they did some extreme things to stay safe, and now Adam Silver should be proud. You talk about a guy who looks like Voldemort.
yes.
You know, the commissioner. Have you seen this guy, Pete?
I can't picture him.
He looks like the Harry Potter bad guy,
Okay.
or Rick Scott. He might be.
Or
they
Ann
might
Coulter without hair.
They might all 3 be the same, or Ann Coulter without hair.
Yeah.
So, but he did a phenomenal job. A lot of people were pushing back against him, and
Mhm.
I got to give him props. It was the right decision.
Yeah. No, I disagree with how they've handled some political stuff.
Mhm.
I think their ratings are in trouble for a while because of this. I don't think when they come back next year, and how do you do a whole season? If coronavirus is still out there and there's a national mask mandate, the NBA will not be able to do an entire season. They will have to do a shortened season inside the bubble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with this, it looks like LeBron should win another championship.
He
It looks
should
like
win
he should
another
win another championship. Are the Jordan fans going to say this one needs an asterisk beside it?
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm a Jordan fan, but they won the title, and it's probably harder to win the title this year than in a regular season because you were playing, you had a rhythm, you had to take time off, you had to stay in shape while you were taking time off, and then you had to come back, get back in a rhythm, and playing someplace you never played before under circumstance of it, and you're still getting paid a boatload of money for putting up with all this. But I think that was kind of a harder
And did you
season.
see what LeBron did the other night
He walked off the court early.
with 9 seconds left?
Well, I asked my kids who watch the NBA, I'm like, hey, did you see it? Like, Dad, he does that once a playoff. Once a playoff, he walks out early.
And I'll tell you, I mean, I was not a Jordan fan or a LeBron fan. I was an Orlando Magic fan. And he lost me, and I still think LeBron is possibly the greatest basketball player of all time. And one-on-one, I still think he beats Jordan just because he's got him by 40 pounds. But he walked through the Orlando Magic dancers during a playoff game after bitching at the referees
Mhm.
and literally pushed 3 of them out of the way so he could get back to the bench. And after that, I cannot stand the dude.
Okay.
I can't stand him.
Who's the guy on the Golden State Warriors you don't like? He played at Michigan
He
State.
gets all the technical fouls.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now.
Do you want him or LeBron on your team? You got to take
Well,
one
I
or
take
two.
LeBron on the team.
Okay.
I mean, LeBron to me is my Donald Trump.
Okay. You
can't-
just don't
you
like
can't
him.
You can't pass him up.
Okay.
he's still the best player.
Yep.
And Trump is the best candidate. He's just an asshole. If I'm going fishing, I neither one of them are going fishing with.
Okay. By the way, the Braves won again today.
Did they?
They
Good
beat
for
the
them.
Marlins 9-5.
Good for them.
So they lead the series 1-0.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the truth. I'm rooting, and this is bad. I'm rooting for Tampa Bay.
Green's the guy's
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
I love our listeners. They give it. Yeah.
He cries.
Draymond
Draymond Green.
They give you all
He
the-
cries
yeah.
constantly.
Yes.
So he cries constantly. That's the reason I couldn't stand the Pistons.
Draymond
I
Green
felt
and
like
another first-round pick versus LeBron.
No, I'd still take LeBron.
Oh, okay, all right.
LeBron can carry an entire team to the finals. He's done it before.
Would you
Or
rather
used
have?
to- used to
Okay,
be
you
able
brought
to.
the Jordan LeBron. You're a general manager. Do you want Jordan or LeBron on your team?
Depends on the circumstance, but normally I would say I would take LeBron.
I'm going Jordan.
Yeah.
I just
If you need a team leader, then you go to
I
Jordan.
just think Jordan.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking just raw athlete.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron to me, and
yeah.
the other player I don't like, who I think is the best athlete, possibly in professional sports,
Westbrook.
Russell
Yeah.
Westbrook.
Yeah. Say that really fast. 3 times.
Russell Westbrook.
Say it again.
Russell
Come on.
Westbrook. Yeah. But I mean, to me, he's a phenomenal
He's an amazing
athlete. And when I
athlete.
see people say, "Oh, he's in the top 5 of all-time basketball
He
players,"
is an
no, he's not.
amazing athlete. No doubt about
No,
it.
he's not. So, but it looks like LeBron's going to win again. The guy from Miami played amazing the other night, Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler. But I mean, I just watched the stats. I didn't see the game, but it looked
Okay.
like he just threw up some ridiculous numbers.
Right.
Have you watched any of the finals?
None. I haven't watched any of the NBA. I told
Mm-hmm.
you the other night, probably a month ago in the early parts of the playoffs, Ethan was watching a game. I sat down and talked to him, and the game happened to be on while we were talking.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty interesting game. Some guy went off for like 40 points. It was the second night in a row. It was interesting to watch. But so 10 minutes of the NBA since they've come back. And football, if the Jaguars play as crappy as they did in the second half, I'll be done watching the Jags for the rest of the season too.
Yeah.
I've already put the Florida State Seminoles. They're
Mhm.
they're on the sideline for me. I am not changing any plans on a Saturday to watch any of their games.
I'm going to miss.
And they play Notre Dame this weekend, which means I'm probably not watching that
I
game either.
really would suggest you not watch that.
I don't think I'm going to watch
I'm
that.
gonna miss the Clemson Hurricanes game, I believe, because I'm gonna be at a picnic.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at a barbecue. So I think I'm gonna miss that game. And that's the game to tell whether or not Miami's quarterback is as good
As
as
he,
everybody's touting
in Miami thinks he is.
Everybody's touting him as being that amazing, but we're going to see what happens when the players are a step faster and a little more organized.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Mac Jones.
Mhm.
So Mac Jones grew up in Jacksonville. He played at Bowles. He is sat on the bench behind Tua and all of these other players at Alabama. He's finally gotten his shot, man. And he is he is doing great.
He's got a chip, though.
Oh,
I like
he's
watching
doing so good.
And the quarterback for Clemson, you gotta like him too.
And Max, yes. And Mac's
Lawrence.
dad was the first All-American tennis player at Flagler College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
tie back into St. Augustine. Gordon, his dad, super good guy, but Mac, I would watch. I'm not a big Alabama fan, but because of that tie back to St. Augustine and Jacksonville, I would watch Mac.
Cool.
I'd rather watch Bama than watch my own Seminoles this year.
So he's a son of a Flagler alum. I like
Correct.
him a little better now.
You like him a
said
little
that.
better. Now you're going to
Now
start
that you
watching.
said that, I like him a little better.
Okay, so your Pope Francis.
Pope Francis.
Your Pope Francis.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a good,
Said
he's
this
a good dude.
the other day. Well, you'll probably like him even more after this. And Pete, I don't know whether this will trigger you or not.
Have
but
you seen the two popes yet?
No.
You need to watch that movie.
Oh, okay. All
you
right.
need to watch that movie.
Well, first of all, it's
You
dark.
won't like
it's
it.
dark an hour after I get home, and I'm ready for bed right now.
You won't like it because it makes Pope Francis look like a really nice guy.
Okay, I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just. I may watch it. I don't know. There's just. I really got to tell you, there's not. I finished Longmire a week ago, and or this last weekend, and there's just no need to. I just haven't found another series or something I want to watch.
Yeah, watch the two popes.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy it if you can get past
All right.
the
So Pope Francis said,
anger of this story you're about to say.
I'm not mad about it. I just
Okay.
think he's wrong. Pope
Okay.
Francis said the coronavirus pandemic has proven that the magic theories of market capitalism have failed, and the world needs a new type of politics that promotes dialogue and solidarity and rejects war at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like me to take this sentence apart?
What's wrong with rejecting war at all costs?
Okay, I'm fine with that, but did we start a war during the pandemic? Has a war started since the coronavirus pandemic started?
Yeah. It's called Democrats and Republicans.
Nah, that's an ongoing Hatfields and McCoys.
Okay.
There has not
mask
been a war.
versus non-mask. That's a pretty real war.
That's a pretty big war. I will give you that one.
It's a feud.
You do have a point there, Pete. It's a feud. All right. Karen versus Karen.
Yeah.
right.
So, and my cousin Karen may or may not be listening, and I really don't mean that against you in any way, shape, or form. You're a lovely person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that that we've had a war since the coronavirus, right? It hasn't caused one. So I got to take that out. But it says that the coronavirus pandemic has proven the magic theories of market capitalism have failed. Now, how have they failed if countries shut entire economies down?
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism is about trading and selling goods and services.
I think he was talking
if
about
you shut that down, nothing works.
I think he was talking about the more density of the cities, the more dangerous it became.
I didn't hear that at all in that sentence.
Capitalism is, you used to go to the big cities because that's where you had work. And that's the capitalism, and that's where it's at. So I think that was more of a density of what capitalism creates. Capitalism creates density.
I'm all for promoting dialogue and solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. But capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty
Let's
than
send it
any
to the
other
Supreme
system.
Court and see how they rule.
I don't
bet
trust
they-
them. I don't trust them.
I bet they
The
rule with
Pope's court.
Francis. I bet they
I'm
rule
not
with.
sure I'm trusting them.
I bet they rule with Francis.
I feel like George Costanza right now. I'm not going to trust them.
Yeah.
That's a good George.
Not going to trust them, Pete.
You should have stayed with
Stopped
the
at
first
one. Yeah, I was good at one.
yeah.
You should
All
have
right.
stayed with the one.
So here is a Pete, did you ever get a chance to interview Mark Levin?
No.
You
No.
know who he is, right?
Yeah. We had done a couple things with him, but never interviewed him.
Troy, you know who Mark Levin is.
Mm-mm.
So Mark is probably right now on the right. I'd put Rush, Mark Levin, maybe Tucker somewhere in there. That they're the top three probably thinkers when you come to people that have a mass audience. And he does a show on Fox on Sundays, gets a lot of good interviews. He also does a radio show or a podcast every night. Facebook censored him for, according to them, too many untruths. Now, I've watched Mark's stuff. He's good. He's very, very good. So for Facebook to censor him, I think it just tells you they're going after the most effective voices that they can find. Mm-hmm. So we should be fine. We should be good, right? We should be banned at all.
We should be. Actually,
we're in good shape.
Actually, we provide so much content for these guys.
Yeah.
That we're probably on the radar.
We would shut down so many shows if they took us away.
I don't know what they would talk about.
I don't know what they would talk about either.
They'd probably talk about cotton candy or something. Right?
It's just fun whenever you say something here, and then all of a sudden, 24 hours
again.
later, 2 hours later, somebody else is right there.
I think the Hodge twins actually, they called me. I didn't pick up, but I think they're going to pick up on the mask story on Trump.
I like the Hodge twins.
Yeah,
I really do. I just,
but they called and said, "Hey, you mind if I do?" I'm going to say,
I don't care.
Should
Just
I
a
let him do
shout
it?
out. I mean,
let him do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've said anybody that we like, you can take whatever you want, whenever you want. Mm-hmm. Just once. Yeah.
Jake Tapper stealing from you on a regular basis is uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
But it's necessary for them to get the ratings.
Mike's just mad that he never gets any credit for anything.
Yeah.
Not even doing an interview with a sheriff.
Not even locally. Not even locally, they don't give him any credit.
Well, you showed up.
I was there virtually.
You showed up.
That's what you get for quarantining 5 times.
Yeah. I didn't want to get a candidate for the sheriff's race sick.
That would have been bad.
That would have been bad. They would have traced it. In fact, the ridicule that you would have given me for doing that is a bazillion times worse than the ridicule you're giving me for not being
That's
there.
true. That is definitely true.
Jeez, Mike, you tried to throw the whole race. Oh, and by the way, didn't you donate to the other candidate? I mean, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, way to go. All right, that's the end of our show. I want to say thank you for you doing all that research. Pete, I want to say thank you for you staying conscious at least 81% of the time. All of our sponsors out there and our great listeners and commenters, we appreciate you. This is Uncommon Ground with Mike and Troy, and we'll be right back tomorrow.